kiddos. We'll see you in a couple hours. Bye. Say bye, Corbin. Hope you find your dad.
Bye, Corbin. I hope you find your dad.
Oh, this Ohio weather sucks. Today is a big day for me. I am currently going to, after 11 years. After 11 years, I am going to go look at Apple products today. Very nice. So, I've been looking at getting a MacBook for a while, and obviously you guys have seen the new launch of the MacBooks. Well, last night I go to check out like ordering one, and Megan and I seen that they had an Apple Card program, so we're like, oh cool, let's sign up. And we get approved for this Apple Card. Take in mind we didn't need to use the Apple Card, but I was just like, oh, an Apple Card, we might as well do that. It's like 0 interest for X amount of time. I was like, this is perfect. It'll give me plenty of time to sell the extra stuff that I have. Even though we got approved with an Apple Card, we have to have an Apple device to use the Apple Card. So I'm gonna go buy an iPhone just to use our Apple Card to buy a MacBook to get rid of the iPhone, because I only have one life to live. This is what Megan thinks about that.
Makes me dislike Apple even more. Not a fan.
All right. Well, got an iPhone 13 Pro. It'll go really good with my 16-inch MacBook Pro new 2021 thing. I don't even know what this thing's called, and those guys in there were like, holy shit, you got one? So for reference sake, if I would have ordered one of these online, it wouldn't have been here till December. And it just so happened this Best Buy in Ohio, of all places, because we're ironically in Ohio this weekend, a Best Buy in Ohio they don't have this in any of the Charlotte. So I'm switching to MacBook. Oh, fuck.
That's how I feel.
First off, feels amazing to be back home. We got home from Ohio last night at 10 o'clock. Megan and I send our thanks to any of you for the sympathies. Again, we were in Ohio for a funeral this last week. Unfortunately, it's life, it happens. But anyways, thank you all for reaching out, giving your sympathy to Megan. Okay, so I have a busy day because now I'm a little bit behind with this vlog. I need to create a video today. I actually got to go to the store in a second to get stuff for this video, but I need to create a video that I wanted to create in participation with this big campaign that Mr. Beast is doing go check out that video. It's already on the channel by the time you watch this. On top of that, since I was able to snag my new MacBook Pro earlier than what I thought. I didn't think I was gonna get this till like mid-December, but now I have to rearrange the room to accommodate for utilizing this. Busy day, would love to see it. Okay, here's what the plans are. It's already starting to become a mess, so don't crucify me. This table right here, badass workbench that I said, like, for the time being, it was nice to use as a workbench. This table is going back over to that wall over there. This table here is going back over there for unboxings and tinkering and working with. Then I am moving this computer, this Rodecaster Pro, and a couple things off of this desk over here, and I'm going to be moving it to this desk that's going to be on that wall over there. This entire area over here is going to be set up around the whole idea of creating. The only trouble I'm going to have is I need to figure out how I can hook up both of these monitors to one MacBook. We shall see. Okay, so we finally have the sit down shot set back up, brought the shelves in for just some nice like little background. We got the FX3 cinema camera set up. This is gonna be more stationary since the Sony a7 IV is on the way. So I'll be able to kind of like keep this as like my cinema rig. We got the boom mic set up. We got everything ready to roll for today's video and a couple other videos that I have to produce. One thing I've noticed about this setup, like removing the L shape in the room and like having this desk here, is that it like I've said before, it gives so much room in here to do this type of stuff. It gives me this space to work freely, move this desk to and from the wall, set up shots for like unboxings, set up shots for just like sit down narration, like what I'm gonna be recording today. So we are making huge progress. We got a big mess here and I'm still kind of stumbling on how I can utilize both monitors with one MacBook. I gotta go try to get some cables while I'm out and about today. Okay, before I go to the store, for a while, I've been very curious about MacBook. You guys have probably heard me talk about it in streams or just heard me interacting with other people, like for example, Jayhawk, about like the idea of a MacBook, because like the idea of just having this mobile item that is in itself better than my stationary item, for example, a PC. One laptop to just move and groove and create. Like the idea is that if I didn't have this setup in itself, I'd have a laptop good enough to keep up with the workflow that I currently have with my computer. And after years of trying multiple Windows devices, and I'm telling you, like I've tried multiple Windows devices. I've been using an Asus ZenBook Pro for a while now, and I even had the opportunity to use an Asus ZenBook Pro Duo with the maxed out capabilities. I'm talking an RTX 2060 in it, an i9 6-core processor, 32 gigabytes of RAM. These laptops are insane, and I'm very grateful to have the Asus. I'm very grateful to have worked with the Duo as well. And it's not that they're bad laptops, it's that at the end of the day, the nitty gritty, do those laptops compare to my custom built PC? And they just didn't. They just did not run as smoothly with certain codecs. They did not render as fast. I will say the i9 laptops do render pretty fast for a laptop, but once I would get into like big video projects, anything past like 10, 15 minutes, it would really struggle. Or if I really started using a lot of transitions, both those laptops really just like bogged down. Understandably so, that's a lot of data to process. And I've had the question on my plate for years of like, does a MacBook have these issues? A fellow YouTuber and homie of mine, Jayhawk, mentioned that he doesn't have any of these problems with the previous MacBook. So when I seen the event for these new M1 Max chips, I was like, okay, I think maybe it's time. So I was really interested in getting one. And the other night I got on Apple once again to build mine and see the price and really analyze like, okay, if I do this, like I'm getting rid of a laptop and a computer, essentially, like I'm gonna sell those. I'd have to really like this. And while I was on there, I noticed that Apple had an Apple Card. And it was like zero interest and all those things. And me personally, with what I've done throughout the years, I take advantage of those kind of promotional opportunities. I throughout the years have utilized debt to be able to invest into things. I paid off, I got a really good credit score, but I know a lot of people have different opinions and stuff. Just me and the way I process things, I utilize debt. I use debt and promotions and cards in certain situations when I need things to be able to just get it then, maybe use a promotion or just like buy it through a credit card to build up credit to get points and then just pay it off the next month. Either way, I typically buy everything with a credit card and just pay it later or through a promotion. So when I seen an Apple Card, I was like, let's just apply for it, see what happens. I was instantly approved for X amount that would cover everything. So I was like, perfect, I'm just gonna get this Apple Card and then I don't have to pay it off right away. I can really test it, pay it off over time. Boy, is Apple's marketing good. So it turns out with an Apple Card, and this is something that I should have just done more research, I can't be mad about, but it's so smart from Apple. If you get approved from an Apple Card, it's not just like a physical number automatically or a card that you get automatically. It is an Apple Card tied to your Apple devices. So when I went to go check out online with the MacBook Pro, I was not able to actually check out because I had a Samsung phone and an Asus laptop. I had no Apple device. Apple was so smart with this that I couldn't even use my sister-in-law's phone to do it. I had to be on a fresh phone or iPad with my login to access my wallet, to access my Apple Card. I tried contacting Apple and was like, can I just close this account because I can't even use a card because I don't have Apple devices? And they're like, yeah, you can actually close the line, but your credit's gonna have a hit. So if I just close this line that's now open for these promotions, I could do that, but regardless, like now my credit is gonna be ran under the fact that I opened up this credit card. So again, with me and paying attention to my credit and paying attention to cards, I know this is like the boring part of the video, but like for me, I didn't like the idea, the weird OCD side of me didn't like the idea that I had this credit card and if I just cancel the line, it's like, whatever, I just canceled it. I can't charge anything to it. But in the world of credit, I still opened this account. So for me, for like how I work and my mentality, I'm like, I'm gonna use this card now. I'm not gonna let this account just sit here. So I went and got an iPhone to be able to actually use the card. If I'm being completely honest, I was already looking at getting the iPhone 13 Pro anyways. Obviously with what I do, it's good to compare stuff, and I have the Google Pixel 6 coming in to test as well. Right now I'm at that transition in my like creative YouTube career where it's finally becoming evident that it's worth investing into some of these devices to test them out. And typically what I do as a creator is if I don't like something, I just kind of sell it on a discount after I've reviewed it and made my video. It's something I would like to really go more in depth on in the future, like when's the right time to invest into products. You know, for example, I pre-ordered the Sony a7 IV because I was getting it anyways, but like for complete transparency, just the first video that I made on that, talking about it while not having that camera, made me a fraction of the cost of the camera in itself. So with doing YouTube, I'm analyzing things more on like, will this benefit both the channel and growth and monetary like revenue gain from doing that video? If so, then there's like a positive of doing that and testing these things out. Because at the end of the day, I can test out this iPhone, I can compare it to the Google Pixel, and if I don't like it, I can just sell it. Some people say that I can just return it and get like my full money back. I don't feel comfortable doing that. I like the idea of like, okay, I buy this like $1,000 item for now, I test it. If I like it, okay, I keep it. Like, and then this is a device I have and I sell the old stuff. But if I don't like it, however, like I just sell it for a more affordable price so somebody else can benefit using the item. And I had my review, I benefited from like creating the content around it. I tested it, I gave it an opportunity. I just didn't like it. Now here, somebody else, like I barely use this thing, you can get it for a more affordable price. I think that's kind of cool. I was in that transitional phase for like a year or two when we first moved down here and I did the clean out last year, where like I never sold anything and I just kept it all. And I was like, this is just a waste. Somebody else could be utilizing this. So I was like, well, I'll just get the iPhone 13 Pro. I'll compare it to the Google Pixel 6, which I have coming this week. I'm keeping away from the reviews because I really want to I want to check this thing out. I want to really see what it's all about. And then we'll just kind of go from there. I'm gonna say, I'm actually pretty surprised at how much I'm liking the iPhone. I'm still like going back to my Samsung though throughout the day to do things because like iPhone and Apple in general is just very strict. They're very like niche with their devices and how things interact, as to where like Android and Windows, it's a little bit more open. It's a little bit more like these devices are more of your playground. You have more room to mess around with stuff. I keep finding myself like putting my iPhone down and going back to my S20 Ultra to do certain things. And I'm like, well, this is kind of redundant, but it's a sleek phone. And so I can understand why people like this. But either way, this is why I had to buy an iPhone to get my MacBook, to get my MacBook Pro. Yep. I did it. I actually did it. I figured out how to set up everything for the Mac. One cable goes into the Mac and just runs it all. It's insane. I'll show you here in a second. First, I gotta go actually return this to Best Buy. I went to get a Ethernet cable for the MacBook, and turns out I didn't pay attention and I got the wrong cable. Mind I add, huge downside to like Apple products, Mac, whatever. Holy shit, is everything way overpriced. Wow. It's actually insane how big of a difference a breeze makes. And when we were in Ohio this whole last week, it was like the same fall weather, I guess you'd say, but due to the breeze, it was like 20 degrees colder there the whole entire week. Like even if the sun came out or it was like a nice day, it was still so much colder because of the breeze. Even though the temperature outside was technically warmer, it was like the real feel was so much colder. And sometimes it feels like I'm continuously in a vacation living down in North Carolina, because it's just like, it's not the same. It's built different down here. And I love how it's built down here. Oh, I love North Carolina. And I also really, really love the fall. Okay, so take in mind it's still gonna be a little messy, but nonetheless, we've made a shit ton of progress. Some things are just kind of laying around for the time being, like just in their place while I really like test out this MacBook. But for the most part, the convenient setup that I was talking about is put together. And aside from this SSD drive that I have going into the MacBook, I have one Thunderbolt cable going to the back of the Asus ProArt monitor over here, which is giving the MacBook power in itself. And then it's also driving USB power to the monitor, so that way I can plug in the Focusrite, the keyboard, everything. This little hub right here. All the USB devices are plugged into the back of the ProArt monitor. And then I have a lightning bolt to HDMI cable going to the second monitor up top. So that's one cable going from the MacBook to the Asus ProArt monitor, and then everything else is being ran from the Asus ProArt monitor. Right now I'm organizing a whole bunch of cables and stuff, and like some of these cables that are still sitting under here are cables from previously having the PC ran to all this stuff. So this is kind of what I was explaining about the idea of like minimalizing, making it convenient to just jump into this creative workstation. But then like when I want to get out of this, like I just unplug and go. Getting rid of the distraction of cables and like all that managing and just like minimalizing to make my day by day easier, just getting in here and getting shit done. I'll definitely have a full tour coming. I know I've been saying that for like 2 or 3 months at this point. To be fairly honest, I wasn't expecting some of the things, like I wasn't expecting to get a MacBook by this time. Like that was not in the plans 3 months ago. I was also not expecting the A7 IV. Like at this point, I just kind of thought that the Sony A7 IV was just never gonna come out. And here we are. I guess that's what happens too when like Techtober hits. That's the whole point of Techtober, is this time of the year, just every company wants to come out with the best shit so that way they can get rid of their old products for Black Friday, and then moving into the holidays, they can push more of their new products that they've been announcing right now during the month of October. So I would not be surprised if there's more things that are gonna come at this point. But as far as this goes, we are finally like dialing in this environment for like the 2021 year. Who knows what I wanna do by 2022, but hey, this is what makes things fun, right? This is why I like creating. This is why I like doing these things in itself, like having fun tinkering with this whole studio and just moving things around. And like this week, it was just like so addicting to troubleshoot the idea of how can I make this one MacBook that I'm new to. So like on the side of that, like I'm organizing this new thing, I'm learning this new operating system in itself. I'm organizing hard drives to be able to utilize this one MacBook and this one external hard drive. And then again, I'm troubleshooting the idea of like, how do I just plug this into all these monitors? Because I'm used to, big bulky graphics cards with every slot that, HDMI and DisplayPort, like everything. How do I get everything to set up? How do I get it all to run? And then that second, when like I finally plugged in the right cable and I got this monitor on, I was like pumped. And then I got both of them on. It was like this extreme sense of like accomplishment. I guess that's kind of why I like making new setup changes all the time and like tinkering with stuff and messing around with shit and putting this out there to you all, because even if it's just like changing the desk from like one side to the other, if that little change can motivate me and inspire me to create even harder for X amount of time, what would that change to a lot of you guys and gals that are watching these videos that are sitting back thinking like, you want to make some changes about your setup or just things about you in general, but you don't. You just think, it's just so pointless. There's no need. The idea of like decluttering, it gets stressful thinking of tearing something down, moving it around, and just like rebuilding anything. This is like anything. This goes beyond setups at this point. Rebuilding anything sucks at times, or the thought of it does. But I found, and I've tried to also share this in these videos, that by just simply doing and trying these new things can often be a lot easier than what you typically imagine. And then on top of that, it's a little bit more fun in the process. And then you just learn so much more during the journey in itself, right? Like, you know, the things that I've learned since we've lived in Ohio about like transitioning from setup to setup to setup to setup, all the technical shit that I've learned throughout these years because I've been so influenced by it. It's crazy to think how much, like just this week, trying to set up my MacBook with these two monitors. I learned things this week that I did not know to this day about like Mac devices and even some of the monitors that I had. I get really inspired around the idea of like continuously learning new shit and discovering new things, because I think by learning and discovering, it's just like, it's what makes us feel alive. And that's why I wanted to do Vlogtober. That's why I wanted to like push myself this month. This is the last vlog of Vlogtober, by the way, but I did have a blast. I didn't feel stressed this month, aside from that one day that I had like a self-sympathy thing going on. I feel like I really enjoyed doing this. Like I challenged myself, I made the content, I was proud of what I put out, and I went on to the next thing. Also, what did you guys think about the separation of like the first half of the month, we did daily, but then the second half we did these two large vlogs. Did you guys and gals genuinely enjoy these larger vlogs? I'm really interested to like, give me your full in-depth. Were they easier to consume? Did they just seem like clutter? Could they be cleaned up in any way, shape, or form? Personally, I did enjoy them because I couldn't have imagined trying to keep up with this goal or idea of like daily uploading during this month, you know, with the whole Ohio and Megan's grandma thing. Like that just put us through a curveball, and I just simply would have made vlogs those days that just flat out sucked. Like there's just no point to putting them out other than the idea of just putting them out. Anyways, I need to get this over on the Mac and get to working. By the way, I got some badass tests. This thing is a beast. This MacBook is honestly insane. I don't know if it's always been like this. I think like what I have is probably like cream of the crop when it comes to MacBooks, but you know, a part of me is feeling like, have I been missing out on like this convenience for a while? Probably not, because it sounds like that this thing is like really like above and beyond the previous products. But hey, any of you Apple people out there, let me know. I still don't know if I'm team Apple yet though. Like I got my gaming PC over there, and now that it's like cleaned up and organized with files, like I was just playing Apex on it last night, and I'm just like, this thing is a tank. This thing is still like, it's a beast regardless. But you guys let me know in the comments down below. You team Apple, you team PC, you team hybrid? I guess you'd say I'm team hybrid right now. Guys, gals, thank you so much for an amazing month. If the feedback is good about doing these big mega vlogs, I'd love to keep them going. If you guys enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like on it. If you guys have any questions, suggestions for the startup, or any concerns, be sure to leave them in the comments down below. Make sure you guys are subscribing and turning on those notifications, and going to BigE.co and grabbing some merch today. Go get your dad hats, guys. What are you doing? All right, that's all I got for you guys today. I'm out. Peace. Deuces.